Ah, yes, nothing like a good meme movie, and that's what we have today. As at the Twitch Points Quest of Blade, we are going to look at Silent Night, Deadly Night Part 2, released in 1987. In the first Silent Night, Deadly Night, Billy and Ricky Chapman had their parents killed when they were young by a guy dressed as Santa Claus. And after Billy grew up, this caused him to turn into a psychotic killer. In this film, we follow his brother Ricky, who, guess what, turns into the exact same thing. So this film is mainly known for two things. Number one being that half of this movie is just the first movie. I am not joking when I say the first 40 minutes of this 88-minute movie comprise of flashbacks, which is just footage from the first film. The second reason being is that it gained popularity as a cult classic due to it unintentionally becoming a dark comedy due to Eric Freeman's eccentric performance as Ricky Chapman. The most known line from this movie is when Ricky says "garbage day" and then shoots a guy taking out his trash. It's quite possible you've seen that clip as well and not known it was from this movie. This movie only had a budget of $250,000 and in its limited theater release couldn't even make that back, raking in $154,000. It received negative critical reception due to the fact that, again, the first half of the movie is just the first movie, which, fair enough. But let's go through this two movies in one right now. Silent Night, Deadly Night Part 2, released in 1987. So our film begins with Ricky Chapman, who is locked away in a psychiatric hospital. He's interviewed by a psychiatrist, Dr. Henry Bloom, who wants him to tell the story of the events that led him here. First, he decides to recant his brother Billy's story. And again, this is the part that's just the first movie, and I already did a review on that, so go watch that if you want to hear this in detail. For this one though, I'm just gonna skim it. So Billy and Ricky have had severe childhood trauma after their parents were murdered by a guy dressed as Santa Claus. They grew up in a Catholic orphanage where Billy was routinely punished by the Mother Superior. Eventually, when he was 18, he was kicked out of the orphanage and got a job at a toy store where they made him dress as Santa Claus. And on Christmas Eve, he witnessed one of his coworkers attempting to rape another coworker, which activated his childhood trauma, causing him to kill all of his coworkers and go for the town on a murderous rampage. This eventually led him back to the orphanage where Billy attempted to murder Mother Superior, but he was shot down by police right before he could do so. And now time for Ricky's story. Shortly after these events, he was adopted by a family called the Rosenbergs. They gave him a good childhood upbringing and he was fond of them, but they mostly ignored his trauma. 5 years later, his adopted father died, and afterwards he went on a walk through the woods. He then stumbles upon a couple having a picnic. The man then attempts to rape his partner before she gets him to back off by kicking him in the nuts, but this activates Ricky's trauma, much like it did to Billy. After the guy goes back to his car, Ricky gets in his car and runs him over multiple times with his own car. The girl witnesses this, but then thanks Ricky so he doesn't murder her. Ricky also gets a job as a dishwasher and witnesses a mob gangster beating up some dude outside. Ricky gives him a taste of his own medicine by beating him up and then stabbing him through the chest with an umbrella. Rain then comes down, which is just very obviously being poured from a garden hose, which is really funny. Sometime later, Ricky meets Jennifer, who becomes the first and only person he truly loves. Ricky and Jennifer go out to a movie where Ricky is annoyed by some annoying guy talking for the whole thing in the back. He then goes to deal with the guy, and by deal with, I mean murder. While this is going on, Jennifer is being harassed by one of her douchebag ex-boyfriends named Chip. A couple days later, Jennifer and Ricky are walking down the street when they run into Chip, who grabs at Jennifer. Ricky responds to this very calmly. Just kidding, he chokes Chip and then puts a car battery in his mouth and electrocutes him to death. This causes Jennifer, understandably, to fly off the handle, so Ricky reacts to this calmly as well. Just kidding, he chokes her to death. A cop then shows up who is not handling his gun with much care, and Ricky turns it on him. Ricky then goes for the neighborhood shooting random people, including one guy taking out his trash.
Garbage day! Huh? No!
He also shoots somebody driving in a car, which causes the car to flip over and then just fucking explode. He's finally confronted by multiple police officers where he decides to shoot himself in the head, but unfortunately for Ricky, he was out of bullets. After Ricky's finished recanting his story, it's revealed that he strangled Dr. Bloom to death with the tape recorder tape. Afterwards, he kills some more people off screen and escapes from the psychiatric hospital. The police tell his sister Mary, who works at the orphanage, that he's probably going there, but she claims that Mother Superior is retired now after she had a stroke. Elsewhere, Ricky murders a Salvation Army Santa off-screen and steals his costume. He even places a call to Mother Superior, not sure how he got her number, to let her know that he's coming, and as a result of her stroke, she kinda looks like Harvey Dent now. Ricky then arrives at Mother Superior's house and proceeds to chase her throughout the house with an axe. Mother Superior eventually gets stuck at the stairs, ain't that a bitch, and is forced to fall down the stairs to escape from Ricky. She somehow survives this though, despite being an 80-year-old stroke victim that looks like Emperor fucking Palpatine, and gets into a conveniently placed second wheelchair, goes into the kitchen, and gets a kitchen knife. She then begins verbally taunting Ricky, which is totally a good idea, and instructs him to face her, which he comes and does. She starts going off about punishment again, he says punishment is over, and the axe comes down on her. The police and Sister Mary then arrive to see Mother Superior sitting at her table, emotionless. The reason she's so emotionless is because her head is no longer connected to her body. This causes Sister Mary to faint, and right behind her is Ricky. He tanks 2 pistol shots before being shot through the window by a shotgun, Scarface style. Sister Mary then wakes up and starts screaming again after seeing Mother Superior's severed head, and Ricky also wakes up, somehow being stronger than Tony Montana on cocaine, and tanking the shotgun blast to end the film. So first off, I'm not gonna do a big board for this because, I mean, this is only like half an actual movie. Like half of this movie is the first movie. So like, how can I even rank this? So for those of you who like bad movies and might want to watch this, Eric Freeman's performance is as advertised hilarious. Like seriously, he makes sitting through this worth it. He gets funnier as we actually get to his scenes. Like he is really good. I don't know if that's what he was going for or if he was genuinely trying to be a psychopath, but either way it was great. Now honestly, if you have not seen the first film, don't. You'll enjoy this movie more if you haven't seen the first film, because the first 40 fucking minutes of the movie is just the first film. So if you have not seen Silent Night, Deadly Night 1, you don't need to. Just watch this and you get both movies. But in conclusion, unintentionally hilarious movie, but 40 minutes of recap is inexcusable, bro. As funny as this movie is, that is just inexcusable. This was in theaters too. It wasn't even direct to DVD. This had a theater release. Imagine going to the theaters and just watching the first movie and you're like, wait a minute, what the fuck? And you know how at the end it looked like Ricky didn't die? Well, yeah, he didn't. There's a third movie, Silent Night, Deadly Night 3, Better Watch Out, which came out 2 years after this. That movie's the same length of this. I wonder if they just recapped part 2 in that one as well, or if it was 90 minutes of actual movie. I'm sure we'll find out at some point, to be honest. But for now, that is going to do it for my look back at Silent Night, Deadly Night Part 2. Thank you, Blade, for using your points on this. This is it for me today. Thank you guys for watching. If you liked the video, be sure to leave it a like. If you didn't like it, don't. If you want to follow any of my social media links, they're all in the video description. Thank you to all my patrons who are also named in the video description for supporting me and all my channels. I appreciate you guys. With all that being said, though, my name is Noah Taft. This has been my look back at Silent Night, Deadly Night Part 2, released in 1987, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.